They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey ladies and gents, it's Seatin here. Welcome to a video. Today we're going to be having a look at the expert version of Glacial Maw, one of the amazing new dungeons coming with the Rift Nightmare Tide expansion in just a week's time now, if all goes to plan. So the 22nd of October, to the best of my knowledge, is the scheduled release date, and this is the first boss, Shigaroth, an amazing looking dragon. The character model on this is just so good. It looks kind of like a cross between a shark and a dragon, and I kind of really like the feel that I get when fighting it and looking at it, because it looks awesome. Adding to that, the fight as well is quite entertaining and is going to keep a lot of pugs on their feet. So you'll notice various stuff like hard-hitting adds. The boss hits really hard. There are going to be pillars of ice that are spawned on the tank. I'm not entirely sure what they do. There's also a lightning breath, and there's going to be kind of this avalanche snow ability that basically, if you are moving, you'll be alright, but if you're standing still, you'll die like in a matter of seconds. So yes, you do have to keep on moving for certain parts of the fight, and apart from this, the boss hits really hard on the tanks. So literally, this makes it quite a difficult task, along with, all the additional adds that you have keeping up with the damage on the tank. And as you'll see in this video, in literally a matter of seconds, the tank just drops, he goes on to me, I get eaten, and then luckily we have an absolutely amazing finish just by the last member of our group, who I believe is playing Warlock or Pyromancer, one of the specs, but basically manages to get him down during the moving phase. Just a couple of seconds longer would have wiped the adds, but a brilliant finish there. So moving on to the next boss, who is this giant kind of were-shark coral zombie. I'm really not too sure how to describe it. All I know is this is a completely new model that looks absolutely badass. Literally, it's just so damn cool looking. It's kind of like a giant mutant squid shark thing, but this guy has a variety of somewhat interesting and very epic mechanics. You'll see there's a crystal being fired toward a member of the party here. The person who gets that needs to ideally run away from the group, but as you can see, we're kind of like a clueless bunch of Muppets that are all just kind of racing around, because I believe we managed to actually get this guy on our first try, which is pretty damn lucky. He's also going to be dropping like giant blue domes, which will deal a large amount of damage to anybody inside them, so you need to be sure to constantly kite the boss around the outer side of the room. Now, one of the cool mechanics that you're going to see in just a moment is basically he will go into a concentrated state. This makes him completely immune to damage and makes all the frozen geysers attackable. So DPS need to nuke down a frozen geyser, then they'll get an ability called Geyser Launch. They can jump onto his actual shark head and be in between his jaws, and then they need to break his concentration just by nuking it down. It has about 265k, so it's a fair bit of damage, but if you have 2 DPS up there, or 1 really OP DPS, you should be able to do it in a matter of seconds, really. And also during that phase, I believe the raid takes slightly increased damage, so if you don't break it within kind of like 20-30 seconds, your group will wipe, and everyone will die and be really sad. So that is it for Apophyon. Now, once he is down, you can actually go inside of this gargantuan ice monster known as Isbifu. Now you enter via kind of like the Tifi entrance there, and we're just going to jump inside now. Now, one of the really cool things about Isbifu, it's quite hard to initially tell, is that the inside of it is actually breathing. You'll notice if you kind of look into the other walls in the distance that they're going in and out and in and out. Now, some players have kind of reported that this is a bit, causes a bit of a headache, gives them problems with fatigue, etc. I think it's a pretty cool addition. As long as, it doesn't give too many people headaches, then I think it should be a fine and pretty nice feature to add kind of immersion to this already brilliant dungeon. And then once you're inside of Bifu, you have to kind of continue powering through until you make your way to this kind of giant crystallized hellbug boss, which we are gonna switch to now. So the third boss in this dungeon is a kind of giant icy crab rock monster known as Tok Nok, a very catchy name there, Tognok. So Tognok has a variety of mechanics. The most kind of ones that you need to be aware of are the egg mechanics. So he's going to kind of charge to an egg and start devouring it, and every second that he's doing that, he's going to kind of regenerate health. There are also going to be little Tognocks that spawn all over the place, and they don't really hit that hard on the tank, but kind of if you drag this fight out too long, they might kind of need to be cleaved down, especially if you have more freshly geared tanks, just to ensure that the tank doesn't take too much damage and that, you know, it's fairly manageable. But apart from that, this is definitely one of the easiest fights in here. You'll also see that the eggs are dropping random AoEs and the bosses as well, so you just need to simply move out of those to avoid taking any damage. They only last for a few seconds, so they're not too much of an issue, and you don't have to worry about spacing because, you know, they despawn pretty damn quickly. Apart from that, you know, he's not really going to hit that hard. The ads of Tognok spawn also off a player. The player gets the debuff similar to the Matriarch of Pestilence, where they will take damage for a few seconds, and then after that duration, the little Tognok will spawn out of them and probably charge to the tank, or the tank will need to be sure to pick it up. But at the moment, the debuff is pretty hard hitting, so that seems like the biggest healing check on this fight. Apart from that, it's pretty damn easy. Definitely the easiest boss in here, I'd say. So in the final room of the dungeon, you fight both Cosmologist Man and the heart of his Bifu. Now basically this fight involves alternating targets mainly, so what's going to happen is you're going to nuke Cosmologist for a while, and then, you know, he's going to go immune, and then you nuke the heart, etc. Both the heart and Cosmologist do need to be picked up by the tank, as they both have aggro, auto attacks, etc., and a variety of casting abilities. You'll see Cosmologist Man casting Icy Grip, and I believe the heart also occasionally interrupts stuff. You should have seen an acid fling there. It was pretty damn quick, and I don't think that one is too much of an issue. I mean, the main thing to interrupt on this fight is Cosmologist Man's Frozen Grip, as that will literally grip everybody in and slow them, and can be a massive pain in the ass with everything else going on in the fight. Apart from that, there doesn't seem anything that's too lethal in this fight. It really is kind of making sure those interrupts are done, and that the tank does have aggro on both of them. One other thing that you do need to do in this fight is he's going to cast a big AoE called Frost Blast, and you need to stand in this lovely safe blue zone that you have in order to survive that big AoE. Also, standing in that blue zone just for a few seconds after will give you a absolutely huge damage boost. I believe it is a plus 50% damage for about 10 seconds from sort of the moment that you first go in the AoE. So also, you know, avoiding mechanics specifically on this fight really does pay off. So to recap, this fight really is all about kind of nuking the target that you can nuke, interrupting Cosmologist Man. Even when he's immune, he will cast Icy Grip. I don't know if it actually goes off though, but we had one interrupter on him for security, and running to the blue circles. It doesn't really seem like there's much more to the encounter than that. Just had a bit of a lag spike on the PTS, so sorry about that delayed clip there. But apart from that, it's a fairly straightforward encounter. I mean, like, the main issue I foresee for most groups on this fight is the tank damage. The first boss, the kind of dragon that we saw on, and this boss just have insane amounts of tank damage that we kind of had to really shuffle around the group and specs a bit to deal with. So that is it for Glacial Maw, guys. One of the new expert dungeons coming next week with the new Rift expansion. It does look insanely fun, and I really can't wait to start running this on live and getting some fat loot from it, because what drops off this boss was some really awesome cleric tank earrings that you're going to see at the moment, and of course, you know, I want to super pimp out my cleric as soon as that launches. So I'd like to thank you once again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe, leave us a thumbs up, a nice comment. If you didn't like it, well, I am sorry about that, but you did well to make it this far. Thank you once again for watching the video, guys, and have an absolutely great day.